It didn't come through all the way.
Okay,
Welcome back.
this actually will help too, though.
Welcome back to the UMR podcast. My name is Alice Lansanese, he, him, his pronouns. I work at North Dakota State University and I'm a hall director. And with me, I have
Jessie B. She, her, Cornell College, Associate Director of Residence Life.
Nathan Dozier, he, him, his, Forte State University. At this angle, you can see that I accidentally bit my lip and it's healing.
Yeah.
Um, Also, this is the last episode that we're recording while I'm in this office, I think.
Heck yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
You can see how
whoa,
thin
whoa.
my mustache is.
No,
It won't
I think
grow.
I think a bit lip is such a good metaphor of like, oh, and because we're always healing, aren't we always healing?
Oh, ooh, ooh.
That was a deep thought. Where are you
That
going?
that was a deep thought, actually. I like that.
No, I'm not going anywhere because I'm just sitting in this office right now recording a podcast, so I wouldn't go. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
Oh, today we're talking about
Very highly controversial topic.
No, which one is it?
Dallas, do you want to announce it? It's your favorite thing. You've been wanting to talk about this for ages.
Oh, you missed it when we did the bathroom break because oh wait, you did the bathroom break. And Nathan and I was like, I don't even know what I was heated about.
Okay, well, you still like you can introduce the topic. What are we talking about?
What's up, everyone? What's up, UMR committee? Today we're going to talk about salary and how all of us in this region don't get enough money.
That's
Okay.
it. That's the whole
So,
podcast. We are just
fun fact for those who care. At one point during a non-recorded section of our get-togethers on these Zoom calls, I'm pretty sure. I don't think this is actually recorded anywhere. I went off on the topic of salary, and I was really upset and animated. So I was normal to you. Um, and I don't remember what I was animated or upset about at all, but I could start. So I salary wise, I think one, I don't know. I think a first where we can go is talking about how do raises work for your position on a year-to-year basis. I think
Okay.
that is an interesting place to start
Yeah.
because I have some thoughts of we how it's structured campus institution wide here as well as just internally. So I'll start and then y'all can we can go from there.
Great.
Um, so there, and I think this is more of a standard thing with just like state institutions. So it might be a little different for Jesse because private, but a public state institution, there is money that comes down from the heavens. Okay, it comes down from up here, and then every year there's some sort of amount that is then divvied up into all of the on-campus departments to then give their professional staff members more money or not, depending on their performance. That is a very terrible explanation, but that is how it works. It comes from here, it then gets divvied, and it's like I don't know if it's the same for departments or different. I'm unsure how that works. I'm only a lowly cog in the machine that is Res Life. And so I am not really sure, but I know it starts here and then it trickle down economics.
I
The
actually
best
want to
economics.
give, can I give a caveat?
Sure.
Are you all consider auxiliaries?
I can you define the word and then I can tell you.
Basically, your funding comes specifically from yourself, and your funding is separate from the university's overall funding.
Kind of
Okay.
kind of hybrid. We have subsections. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not speaking out of turn when it comes to like how actually things are working. We have some parts of our overall arching like department that is an auxiliary of itself. For example, for the most part, like RHA with how student fees work funds itself kind of almost budget wise, almost kind of. But like Res Life is not an entire like we get money. we get bread, you know. But no, back to I think that's what the kids are saying nowadays, bread.
Is that
Um,
what they're saying?
I just love joking that I'm old because I'm in my 40s.
Mhm.
Um,
I
but
never said that.
but no, back to what I was saying though. So raises, the way we've done it, we get this money. Res Life is told that there is a specific chunk of money that you can divvy up to your professional staff members in the department. And then I would assume then there is a even subsection of said money that is then allocated just for hall directors in our department because it is based off of um, performance, your performance review, and how well you do in your position for the last year. You then get a raise depending on how well you did. Makes sense, yes. But also, it's not like if you do subjective is objectively or subjectively the one that has opinion.
So
Subjective.
If you subjectively do the same performance from one year to the other, your raise might not be the same because the money that's trickling from above is different every year. So that's weird to me.
mhm.
But I guess money, but also money is not real and the concept was made by humans, but I don't want to get into that. Um, because I can, I will, but I won't.
Okay.
Um,
So
but no, I'm not finished, but fine.
no, do your thing. Pop
No,
off.
question?
More commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the state as a whole, like for state employees, decides the amount that raises can happen. Like the amount that someone can get a raise to.
Yes.
Um, Basically, if you perform well, everyone gets that amount unless it is noted on your performance that you are not doing well. Or
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Which again I think is crazy because you could do I no, that gets into the politics of salaries. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
You
Um,
you will do it, and I know you will.
no,
The
I will
thing,
not. I promise I won't do it. Um, but I just think it's crazy also, like at least here, there is no opportunity, and maybe this is a wild take to say on a recording. There is no opportunity throughout the year to like request that because of all the work that you do, you can't like be like, well, I think I deserve a raise, so let's give me a raise now, kind of thing. There's no opportunity to do that.
yeah,
And then even like you just there like there's no opportunity like for your like there's no negotiation by the hall director to be able to like increase the raise that they're getting. It's all dependent on
the
supervisor
state.
and above. There's no opportunity to have a discussion on it. It's whether or not you do well, and then if you get money depends on if there's money to be given.
Yes, and there are special circumstances that are exceptions, but they're not often. For example, my position, when there was the move to market for the FSLA that we talked about last episode, not that long ago, um, but when everyone moved below me up, I didn't move. But the reason is because I was already above the like state minimum amount that we decided on, unless we decide to move to hourly. But the problem was moving everyone below me up does not mean I move up just because it got like I guess shrunk. So realistically, the difference between my job right now, and this is not anyone's fault, it's just how raises like this happen when the state decides something needs to change, or the country in this case, actually. It's not just the state. But basically, there's a $3,000 difference between me and the people I supervise, which doesn't bother me at all. But it makes it really hard to hire for my position because what's the benefit?
Yeah.
I don't get housing. So then I'm losing like $12,000. So yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah,
it's
talk
fine.
about that. What are your thoughts and feelings about that?
I don't personally care. The
Okay.
reason I don't personally care is because I wanted the people below me to get paid what they should be paid. And if my job salary is what held that back, I don't want that. The problem is when we hired another assistant director, then they had to be hired at my salary. And that's where it was like, just bump them up and get me there later. But we can't do that legally. And that's where I stopped understanding how salary works.
Fair.
Yeah, and I really don't know. Um, I would just prefer that everyone gets paid what they're supposed to be paid, and we remove as many hurdles from that as possible.
Mhm.
I think this summer is when my position was supposed to have a pay raise up to where it's supposed to be, but I'm leaving here anyway. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming fiscal years are always July to July. I don't actually know how that works for people. Is your fiscal year July to July?
yeah,
Yeah.
Is that just like a standard? I have no idea.
I don't think it always is. It depends on what kind of institution.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
I've been at churches, and this is very different, but I've been at churches that do April to April.
Okay. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh,
our
is, is that in line with Easter?
I mean, yes, but I don't know why that would be significant.
so our fiscal year is July to July. And that's so fucking funny. Um, I'm actually really curious because like right now, I mean, I make the most. So like, I have this internal dilemma of whether or not I should even like be allowed to complain about my salary because I make the most out of my coworkers, but I am the most tenured, so that does make sense.
Mhm.
But like when I say most, it's not like significantly more, especially with again the increase of salaries because of the acronym that we've said so many times that I keep not remembering. Um,
Really?
but yeah, but like yeah, we got bumped up and different to Nathan not getting bumped up because people below him got bumped up. Like because so we used to before this change, the salary for a starting hall director, at least when I started here at 36.5. I'm gonna just say my numbers. I don't care.
Yeah.
I started at 36.5. I currently make 48 something. Ooh, don't remember. I've been here for 4 years. So in 4 years, I've gone up $12,000. That's a really fucking cool thing. But in comparison to like someone like a first year here that has a larger community than I do, they make only like 2,000 less than me right now. So like I make the most but barely. And then when you think of like tenure and like where I started and like raises, it shouldn't be that close. In
Mhm.
comparison, either I should be making more or and I would never want this on someone else, they should be making less.
Right,
If
right.
we're trying to show fairness of like tenure, work, performance, I should have more money in my pocket every month or every 2 weeks. Not my pocket. Well, if you count the plastic in my pocket as
And
how
it
can
should
you
be,
just do
yeah.
money? How is money plastic? And why is
Okay.
money just numbers? Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. I don't get it either. But can I make the point of, well, two things. The first one is I'll say my salary too. That's fine. It's 50 something. And you and I have talked about that before, how you make like $2,000 less than me, if that. And but I'm a mid-level manager. But also the people below me also make 48 something. And the people who are tenured, they all got brought up to the same number. So the people who are tenured do not have a salary above the people who have been here less time. And I get it, but I don't, you know? Like your raises don't matter if everyone gets raised the same amount. So what's the incentive? But I also did the inflation calculator of what this position, the hall director position here, used to get the starting wage of, which was 27.5. I don't know if that's a livable wage, honestly.
Not anymore.
Definitely not anymore. But accounting for inflation, that's 38,309 and 29 cents. So we've progressed. We've moved it to a number that's more reasonable, but I don't know, I guess, how we got here. Like, do we get paid more as a whole, or is it just that money works differently than it did in 2013?
The second one.
Probably the second one. I'm going to reverse it.
Yeah, as you're doing that, let me
Yep.
fill this space real quick. I once made a PowerPoint for a Halderton retreat called 20 Normal Things I Don't Understand. One
Yeah.
of them being capitalism, money, debt, things like that. Um, I will fill. This is just again. I don't in general get how we've lost the plot as a species when it comes to currency. Uh, and I will now, because I can tell you're ready with your calculation. That's my last statement on that, Nathan.
I refuse, and I'm gonna respond to what you said instead. Um, I am gonna say instead, I don't think that we've lost the plot as a species of how money typically works or how it should work. I think we've advanced it. I think we've moved past, oh, we have to have a shiny rock that
Mhm.
says that this is why this paper costs what it does. We don't have to have a piece of gold that
Right.
says this has value. Instead, we have progressed now to this is a representation of your labor and your contribution to the society as a whole.
Why is this plastic different than this plastic?
It
Okay,
has
but
a chip in it that represents your digital account.
And
right.
why are we just numbers in a fucking account? You're telling me that I mean more to some because it's a society because I have a higher number?
No, you've contributed more to society because you have a higher
I
number, but
felt
that's
That's
not
more.
not
true. That's
true.
not true. I know that's
It's
not true,
yes.
but that's what the representation is supposed to be. But there are ways to game that system to get bigger numbers when you haven't contributed more. It is an exploitable system. We've
Yes,
seen it every day.
but only by people who start with higher numbers.
Most of the time, yes. There are exceptions.
I guess that's fair.
The exceptions are
Subjectively,
like you win the lottery.
Right.
subjectively, the more money you make, the less work you're actually doing.
Correct. Yes. There, actually, I'm not even sure if that's true. I think it is that there is like a bar, like a bell curve
Yep.
of this is money and this is how much work you do. I think it's a bell curve. And I
Yeah.
don't think the bell curve's right in the middle. I think it's like it starts
Yeah.
early and
Yep.
drops off. But I do think there's like a uh I help at my parents' farm sometimes. I actually work in like retail slash food services. I do a thing that is really difficult, like construction or something, and then just
Yep.
honestly, I think what's the hardest job in the world? I don't really know.
Well, okay, I think the hardest, best paying job, honestly, I do think doctors, some doctors, depending on what their specialty is.
And that's the thing. Brain surgeon, probably.
Ah, no, because they get to schedule. Like ER doctors are the ones that
Okay, I'll give you that.
hard for not enough, even
Hardest
though they get paid a
best
lot.
paying job. You guys keep going.
I don't. I just. This isn't a radical take within our profession. It's a radical take outside of the profession. I just think there needs to be more value on educators. There needs to be more
That's,
value put on educators and education in general. There needs to be more value put on the the necessity to advance society is through continued and developed education through the higher education system that we have right now. Um, and it's unfortunate that there are people in powerful places that don't view that, at least currently, the same way. Um, there is an access there is a limitless amount of ways to continue education. It's not always just through going to college for 4+ years. There that's not education happens. We talked about this before. Education is more than just the classroom. There is other ways to be educated. I just think there needs to be again more value on the work that I always call myself a lowly cog in the machine of resin slave. I say that shit all the time in different ways. I think there needs to be more value at the base, the mid, and even the like. I don't know, dude. I just think I would because if we have moved on from shiny rock is equal to money, then why can't we? And I know with how okay, now I'm getting okay. Feel free to stop me when I'm getting off the rails too much. Okay,
I'll
that
stop you now.
okay.
I'm kidding. Go.
So, yes, it's funny that you say we've moved, we've developed from past the shiny rock. as a representation of this is what is valuable for goods, services, whatever. I will never say that the gold standard is something that we need to go back to, but it makes the most sense
Right.
in my head when it comes to you can equate this thing to this thing rather than now it's just we've there's probably an equation somewhere that shows why things are why they are, but like it's all on good faith now. Everything is just on good faith that we care more about this piece of paper than we do care about this piece of paper. Like that's it's all good faith. Like we as a people, as a society, have said this means something and this doesn't, which is crazy because it's the same damn thing. But no, I um oh my God, dude,
Oh my.
I get so flustered when I start talking about this shit because it doesn't make sense. Credit cards, you're telling me I can just buy things off of, oh, I'll do it, I'll pay you back probably. Probably I'll pay you back. You
Well,
know,
no, that's not just based on I'll probably pay it back. It's based on if you don't pay it back, there will be legal ramifications.
Sure.
if you're not here, if you're down here, a lowly member of society, there's ramifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you?
I think I think you're so I don't mean to make a complicated thing a simple thing, but because of the work you do, you get number. Because you have number, you can get thing, but it'll cost some number. After number is gone, you can't get it back unless you return thing. Oop, oop.
No, dude, maybe I'm wild to think that like because we exist, we just deserve to be able to exist comfortably.
No, I agree.
No, I know you agree, and this isn't an argument towards you guys. It's just an argument to like my frustrations to the world, dude.
But
Um,
also, it's the incentive to help, right? Like as a whole society. I'm not saying we do help as a whole society necessarily, but I mean, the incentive to help the society is the ability to get things.
but hear me out. A lot of the the major helping positions, i.e., the education system that educates people, you're not getting what you should. The money's low.
Yeah.
Yes, Nathan.
Um, so when I say help, there are tiers of what help looks like
Yes.
to me,
Yes.
and like things that are absolutely necessary, like doctor, to make people live, get paid more. But I, but do you, education's important to then further us as a society, but being further as a society is not necessary for everyone in the society to be able to exist. I'm not saying that educators are not important. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, I know you're not. I
But
I I truly disagree with what you just said, but it's not. It's okay.
that's fair. I mean, but I'm talking about the ability to wake up tomorrow, not necessarily the ability to make a better tomorrow.
Oh, sure, I get it. I understand. I'm following. Oh,
I don't. I yield my time. Alaskan fisherman, by the way, I think is the top of
Yeah.
yeah. That's the hardest, best paying job
Yeah.
before you start getting paid more than what the work you're doing is.
I have a student who's going to do that this summer.
Rough.
Hmm.
just oh man, dude. I wish we had a direction prior to this because like I'm just so
Here,
not.
I mean,
we don't,
yeah, I haven't talked about my salary yet if we want to.
yeah, you can talk about your salary. I'm saying we can also do a redo where we kind of have our talking points already also.
Dude, it doesn't even nothing in existence matters.
Jesse, you want to talk about your
Uh,
salary?
yeah, salary.
I I can appreciate existentialism, but I do think this is where I saw this podcast going.
Being dramatic?
Yeah,
Okay.
and getting to the point where nothing matters.
I
Oh,
mean,
but Jesse,
Jesse, yeah, your salary.
I don't have a salary.
Yeah.
So
Okay, your money.
You don't get paid.
I do get paid. I am not salaried. I was when I started. I started at 36. Um, and that broke down to about 17 an hour, and then I was switched to hourly, and I am now making 18.50 an hour, which is about 38.5. Um, and it is basically like I am salaried because they told me to just report 40 hours a week.
That's fair.
Um, so I don't get to work overtime, but I do get to report 40 hours a week. Um, our institution, so I work at a private institution. Did you have a question?
No, I just had a thought off of that, but it would have turned into 20 minutes of me talking again, so I'm just gonna yield it.
Okay, sounds good. Um,
Pre-yielding time.
building time. All the time doesn't belong to you. You can't just yield all of it.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, please continue, Jesse.
Um, okay, so before I got to Cornell, okay, so Cornell is a private institution, meaning we don't get government funding the same way that public institutions do. Um, before I started, they had a 2% inflation raise that everyone got every year. Um, and since I've started, they've stopped that. Um, because times are tough, belts are tight. Someday it'll come back. Um, but I have gotten a raise because they felt like if they were gonna take Res Life to hourly, at least they should pay us a little more. Um, and then recently we hired, um, so there's basically two of my position. I was the assistant director of residence life. There's another one. There were two of us. And then I got promoted to associate director, um, when we hired a new one. So I think we get paid the same actually. Um, but the reason that I was bumped up from 17 was because of my experience.
Mhm.
So I have gotten a raise because of an exception, and it might be the last one I ever get here.
I have an off the record question, so I'll ask it off the record
Okay, you should
later.
ask off the record.
Um, I this is where okay, so I'm starting to get radicalized and I hate that, Dallas, but you're right. Uh of like the concept of money just being very nebulous.
Yeah, it is.
Because I did you mute as part of the bit?
No,
I
I muted because I was hoping I would not then talk, but you're now agreeing with my points, and so I'm coming back.
But the concept of money is pretty nebulous because there's not really a clear-cut way of putting value on the work. Because there's no scale. The only scale is comparing it to those around you, but just in this like cluster. So like we can compare the salaries of everyone here in like for me, Fort Hayes, we can compare my salary to the other assistant director's salary, to my director's salary, to the people who work under me, their salary. But that doesn't compare to Jesse's institution, where we have the same actually you have a title that is technically above my title.
Technically, but there's four people in our department, so.
That's fair. And your department works extremely differently than ours.
Mhm.
But is your cost of living so different that our salaries should be that different? I don't think so.
Right.
And then Dallas, who is technically pyramid structure wise, a position that is below both of our positions and gets paid more than you and almost as much as me.
Mhm.
So what's money?
Dude, welcome to my world.
Welcome to the In Summary podcast.
Oh
No,
my
like,
goodness.
and yeah, and I'm your psychotic host, Dallas. But no, dude, because everything is just. relative to the things that are happening around you, whether it's salary or whatever it is. It's always just because if we're going specifically just money and the logistical operation of it in society, it's it'll never be good. It'll never be good enough to make sense everywhere because you can't. How many people are on the planet? A lot. You can't please everything that's going on. Uh, Internet says 8 billion. Scientists have come out saying we might be wrong on that. So like, who even knows how many people are in on this earth now that are under the construct of currency and how it operates? There are obviously remote tribes and groups of people that don't work on the same systems that we do in this society. But like those who do work under the rules and regulations of what we are talking about, it's just so and like and I get like some areas of the country, for example, it's harder to get product there. So a product might be more money in that location than it is here because of the work that it takes to get maybe a gallon of milk into one or one grocery store to the other, kind of thing. I get that. You have a grocery store that's on the peak of a mountain, it's going to be harder to get there. So it's going to cost more money for goods there. But like, why? I understand what I just said is the reason why, but why? It's the same good. We should all deserve the same access to the goods that we have available. I don't know, dude.
Well,
Well,
also, like if you're talking whole world, we're we're pretty filthy rich. I mean,
And yeah, and dude, don't get me started about how there needs to be like I don't get like there there needs to be I just wish because at the end of the day, at its core, humans don't want what's best for humans. We don't.
well,
We
yes,
want what's best for ourself. We don't want what's best for the collective. That's just how we operate currently, and I don't think it'll ever get to a point where we transcend and are able to truly do what's best for everyone and not just for the individual. Because if we did everything that's best for if we did the things that are best for everyone, there is enough and you can say there's not there is enough resources of a lot of things for everyone in the world, everyone to live comfortably enough, not maybe to the standard that we know now as comfortable, but comfortable enough where you can wake up every day and not feel like, why am I alive? So like there is enough things if we spread it out and worked as a if all the leaders up here got together and actually cared, we could do it. But we will never get to that point, and that's what angers me.
you know, yeah, this is. I mean, we could get into this far more, but like, this is why I'm religious. This is one of the principal tenets of my religion, that
What was that
humanity.
call about? Anything that you can share?
Yeah, what was that?
lunch plans.
Nice, dude. I'm so hungry. Nice.
I'm a little peckish, not
Yeah,
gonna
dude, I
lie.
can
I'm
feel it.
starting to get messages about my coworkers getting together for lunch.
Yeah, that was just my wife calling me.
Oh, sweet. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
she,
answered.
she calls me. We get lunch every
Hi,
day.
hi, Jackie.
I'll tell you guys I said hi. But I will say, so it is felt at the, I would say, foot soldier level that
Grassroots, yeah.
everyone should be able to live comfortably and happily. And yes, it may not be to a standard that everyone is accustomed to, but I think honestly, the entry level standard of comfortable living is achievable for every person.
I agree.
I think that's fair. That is probably,
Achievable
huh?
based on the resources in the world, or achievable like everyone should.
Resources.
Okay, great, great.
Resources in the world. There's enough resources to make it not ever like someone should not be able to have a 5-star Michelin. How many star? It's 3 stars, isn't it? It goes up to three
No,
stars.
it goes up to five.
It goes up to 5 stars.
I
There's
believe so. Yeah.
5 Michelin stars.
I think so.
I don't remember. I'm not looking it up. It doesn't matter. But someone shouldn't be able to have a Michelin star dinner every single night while another person goes hungry. I agree with that. 100%. And I think the real issue, it boils down to a lot of, it's just three. Okay. But I think the real problem boils down to individual cultures and societies of not wanting to meld with other cultures and societies. Because, for example,
Yes.
if there is let's say a socialist society that is able to make sure everyone gets a standard of care, but it's socialist, America's not going to want to meld and
Right, right,
also
yes.
do that. The
Mhm.
same with right now, a lot of countries, if America was doing it the best, and I'm not saying we are, but if we were,
Right,
and we want other countries to also have our standard of care and living, there are countries that don't like us right now. So
right.
they wouldn't want to meld with us for the sake of not liking us. The problem is borders between all countries.
One of the problems.
Pangea, all of it together. To push them together.
And to not again to knock this down back to like our world.
All the way down to where we are.
No, I think it goes the same. All these thoughts, just when it comes to education in general, being able to have access to, like, I think higher ed should be free. I think higher education should be free. I don't think we should have to pay for college. I don't think people should have to pay for trades, whatever, if they want to do that, to learn trades. I don't think there should be payment there because if we are truly trying to better ourselves as a people, that you do it through education. You do it through understanding more of what's actually going on in the world that you're living, rather than whatever else you want to fill with that statement. It's
Mhm.
through being educated and knowledgeable of things. Now, you can have your opinions on things that are able to have opinions on, because there are things that there shouldn't be opinions on. I'm going to use this is a terrible example, but math can't have opinions on math. It's
No, that's a great
numbers.
example, actually.
Yeah, it is a good
Okay,
example.
fair.
That's probably the best example you could have given just now.
Love it. Math. But like, so there are topics that people can have opinions on how we should. I just wish there was more like understanding of there is at the end of the day, I feel I just wish people were just more willing to want to get to like the betterment of people. Now, how we get there depends on the opinion. I don't know, dude. And education should be free, and I should make more money.
Well, well, that's the thing. Actually, technically, there's a chance that you should make less money,
Yeah,
and
and I would
everyone
be
should.
okay with if education was free. I'd be okay with making dirt.
Well, dude, do we need? My hot take is maybe we need to take a wash, go through our actual points for this, and then come back because this is a topic I have a lot of thoughts on, but haven't really pieced them all in one place. Because in an ideal society, we wouldn't need money.
Yeah, but that's not possible because people are corrupt.
People are corrupt. Yes. In an ideal society, also, the people who are not corrupt can band together to get rid of those who are corrupt. I don't mean get rid of in the permanence. I mean get rid of in the positions they are.
But I would argue that all people are corrupt.
All people are corrupt.
So
Did you say no?
there has to be an outside solution
So we need aliens.
or God.
Oh God. Good point. And this is it gets so muddy.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
not just because it's raining.
okay, so should we redo this podcast?
Oh,
There's
not
It's not raining.
topics in this motherfucker.
What?
What?
What did you just say?
What was cut out?
Uh, what you just said.
Oh,
something.
did it peak?
Yeah.
I said no. We shouldn't redo this podcast because there was good topics in this motherfucker.
Okay, that's why I need to hear. No, I agree with that. I think we can structure those topics and revisit them. But this is where it's like I feel like there is a conclusion, not solution, but just
But a way to conclude.
a conclusion. a conclusion to the discussion that doesn't exist right now because we haven't thought about it hard enough.
Yeah, okay.
Because I didn't know we were gonna go worldly.
I didn't either. I don't think any of us did.
Dude, and this is why, again, and hey, well, hey, what's up, listener? This is gonna be on this podcast, and this is just what we talked about before our podcast. That's why, and I know it was time constraints and not being able to get the preparation that we wanted for this pod. That's why we talked about having points for this
No,
That's
yeah, I know.
And
that's
then
what
I
we talked
tried my
about.
hardest that with the first one, I was like, let's talk about raises. And then it went into, I want the betterment for everyone.
That's true.
Oops.
So, I mean, because we might have to cut this part. I can write an outline to like guide us back through what we've just said in a more concise and maybe helpful manner. I think is
Season
all.
three. In season three.
It's
Okay. So we revisit this topic in season 3, but right now, this is what we're working with.
Yeah, this is the preamble.
Oh, we
The
might not.
entirety of this podcast was the preamble for the season 3 one.
in like 6 months.
What if
That's fine.
someone else is a host in season 3?
That's
Then
true.
then there's different views and perspectives.
That is true. Overall, I think the real thing I'm trying to get at more so is the fact that I think there are like actual solutions that people have offered that are
Yeah.
interesting that we could refer to. That's more of what I want to be more data driven instead of feelings driven. That's why I would want to redo.
Sure, sure, sure. That makes sense to me.
But mostly because this also isn't a topic I've thought about much because I've had other things I haven't that have taken up my thoughts, my brain power.
That
I
is okay.
Yeah, but we don't have to. That's fine. We'll cut out this part of discussing whether or not we're gonna.
We'll just,
Okay, that's fine too. What do you think an editor does? What do you think I do?
Nathan, you have my permission to cut it.
I
Hold
don't
up.
have Dallas's. It has to be unanimous.
This is Nathan behind the camera editing. Yeah.
True, true. I don't do that much editing. Usually I don't edit anything unless it's specifically asked.
Well, I'm asking. We
Okay,
got
well,
the logistical part. Just the logistical part, not
I'm
everything.
I'm fine with cutting. I'm not cutting some little behind the scenes. When we've been talking like 6 minutes about the behind the scenes. That's where I want to cut.
We should timestamp the YouTube videos. They could just skip this part.
No.
I might start doing that. Fuck it. If I have time, I'll go in and start timestamping.
Okay, great. I'm
I
glad
won't.
that kind of time.
You guys keep talking. I'm looking up how to stop world hunger.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be fun to end this with a game that we've done in the past, where I'm going to grab something random and you're going to try to guess what it is, and we're going to see how close we can get to it.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. I didn't think you guys were going to agree, so I wasn't ready actually. Um, okay, I have something in my hand. Closest, and I get to judge who's closest. It's not a unanimous. It's my decision.
Money.
Okay. Money.
Um, I'm going to try to hedge my bets a little bit on this one. I think I can. I think money's specific enough that I can say like um, fidget toy.
That's See, Nathan's playing the long game here, and he knows. So I grabbed a koozie, little koozie.
Mhm.
This is, I want to say from Future. Yeah, it's from Futurama, a little koozie.
Worm.
You can put my solo cup in it, but I would say you could fidget with this koozie.
Yeah.
So I'll give the point to Nathan. All right, I grabbed something else. What's in my hand now? We're going to first the 3 wins.
Magnet.
Magnet. Come on, just come
Stress
on.
ball.
What'd you say?
Stress ball.
Stress ball. So I actually did grab money this time. I grabbed a quarter. So I would have to I would say just like not even like a magnet's typically this color-ish.
Sure, yeah.
So I'd give it to Nathan again.
I'm really good at hedging my bets.
You really
Um, all right. I have grabbed something. What did I grab?
It's your turn to
Jesse,
guess first, Jesse.
No.
Okay.
Nathan,
Um, you grabbed a piece of paper.
piece of paper.
A paper clip.
Um, for the sake of not knowing how to judge this one, Jesse, can you give me a different answer? Something that's not close to paper.
No, she answered.
Yeah. I
You're
don't.
the judge. It's not her responsibility to make your job easy.
You're
Thank you.
right. You're right. So I grabbed an adapter for my computer so I could plug like this into a little dock, and then this is like Ethernet stuff or like a port.
My
That's a
Um,
little
answer is
closer.
and
metal.
I'm gonna say Jesse. No, Jesse wins this one. I'll explain. Paperclip holds things together. This connects things. They are. See what I'm saying?
It contains metal. You didn't have to.
You're
I
right.
like both.
All right. I've grabbed I've grabbed two things, but if you can just guess one of them.
A panini.
A panini. I'm hungry.
Yep, panini.
Your little energy drops.
Homie, I went so far off the rocker. I expected you to say like a cauldron.
Oh, wow, no. I wasn't gonna go that far off the rocker.
Okay,
That
you
My
said
energy drops. I don't even think I have them.
little energy drink drops that you were talking about earlier. What is that C for?
That was Nathan who was talking about that.
yeah, I have the
Oh,
little yeah, please.
all right. Well, do I?
Celsius, not a sponsor.
Well,
Um,
I had a box of tissues and a bandana. Um, I think if we were going off of those energy drops, those are in a box. This is a box. We'll give the point to Jesse. We are tied 2-2.
okay.
Um, and so
Oh,
now,
wait, hold on. For a tiebreaker, Jesse and I grab
oh
something.
yeah,
And then whoever you get closer to wins.
for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I grabbed mine.
Okay.
No, no, no. I'm still looking. Hang
That's
on.
okay.
Okay.
I already have my thought. I already know what I'm. Oh,
Perfect.
I might have seen that a little bit.
Did you see it? Did
Say
it
Maybe.
give?
whatever you're gonna say anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what I had in my brain. A clay pot,
Okay.
like a clay pot.
Okay.
Jesse, do you want to reveal first?
It's a stapler.
Oh shit.
I grabbed a wall scroll that's been sitting on my floor for like, I don't know how long. I don't even remember what it says on. Oh wait, it has it on the back. It says all within the tour sees our brothers. We are our friends in the world.
I feel like because it's more rustic,
It's
clay pot
really
is
big.
closer to that one. That's beautiful.
Congratulations, Nathan. You have won the game. So you can round out the podcast.
All right, that's been been Summary Podcast, where we typically talk about higher education problems, but instead today we talked about the world's problems. And actually, this scroll was way more topical than I thought it would be on that. But I've been your host, Nathan. I've had Dallas Lansonese and Jesse B. Thank you. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.